Hello, welcome to the final visit to an attraction in the North East trip. And I'm at the Beamish Museum, which is one of the biggest living museums in the country. I imagine it's just going to be a bigger version of the Black Country Museum, but it is pretty big, like it's really spaced out. I feel like when I go back there, it's going to feel quite sort of compact. I mean, there's a lot to do there, and you can spend, I'd say you could spend 2 days. I'd say you could easily spend like 3 days in the sort of Dudley area now, doing the zoo. 2 days at Black Country Museum, 1 day at the Black Country Museum. You could do the canal, because that's not a full day thing, but you could still spend almost 2 full days at Black Country Museum to do everything. Then obviously with it being so local, it's not really worth it, because we could just go back to the zoo whenever and go back to Black Country Museum whenever. You do get a return, so you literally only have to pay for 1 day, and you can go back the second day. And it's the same here. Within a year you can come back for a second day. I might come back Easter next year, I might not, because I might go to Legoland or Thorpe Park, because I would like to do all 4 parks down south next year. With obviously Legoland, I won't have been for 5 years, and Chessington and Poultons have got new things from multiple years in a row that I haven't done. And Thorpe, I mean, it's just one of my favourite parks, so I don't know if I'll get the chance really. But yeah, I was going to go to Newcastle yesterday, but I just spent the day in Shields. I did Ocean Beach. I've had a few rides on the breakdance to make the most of it. A few days ago it was running really intense, and then yesterday it kind of left a bit more to be desired, but I guess just different operators, it seems to run differently. So, but I made the most of that, because to have a ride like that in quite a lesser known park, it's really good. And yeah, you know, it's definitely the highlight of that park, and I've had a few rides every time I've been. I think I've been on it, so yeah. But this is it now, so I've left Shields for good for this trip, and I'm just literally spending the day here and then coming straight back. So I'm looking forward to there's a mine that's quite similar to the one at the Black Country Museum. There is a little fun fair, probably not going to bother with it. It doesn't have that many unique things. Obviously the one at the Black Country Museum's got a vintage ghost train that, funnily enough, used to be at Ocean Beach at one point, because they've had a few ghost trains in their time. Well, I think it was before it was called Ocean Beach, but they've had a park around about there for a while. Then there's obviously going to be a lot of buildings. I imagine some of them are relocated exactly. Cars driving past there. You can walk or get the bus down into the museum. The bus is probably better. You do have to queue for it though, because this place is popular. But it's nice to see people actually getting out to these places. I mean, you're not really going to be able to replicate this virtually, are you? So yeah, but I don't really know much about the layout. I've never been here before, but I'm looking forward to what like guided sections there are, if there's anything else like other than the mine, or if you just kind of, I think that there might be. I don't know if they've got any animal. They might have animals here actually. It looks like there's some animals over there. Yeah, when you come to these places, they kind of like, they've built this whole world in the countryside, and they're very. Theme parks will never be this immersive. That's the thing, and you just like, you come through the entrance, especially when you're getting on the bus. It's like you're just being transported back in time, but it's a nice, safe version of the past, because you think this is the good old days. Well, yeah, but it's a nice version of the past that, you know, you obviously get to see. You get to learn about the history, but you get to experience the way that, like, just seeing the architecture and things. Like when I went to the lighthouse, they were saying they don't build things to last like this anymore, do they? It's built with with when it goes obsolete in mind. You know, it lasts a few years, then they have to rip it down and put something else. But no, they built things to last, and things have lasted over 100 years because, you know, they were built to stay permanent, not to look out of date and then get demolished. Like a lot of the stuff from the 60s and 70s, it just gets demolished after like less than 100 years because it's just not built to last, and it just gets torn apart. Something else gets new. Cities are never complete because they're always pulling stuff down and building new stuff. So when you come to somewhere like this, obviously the buildings are all preserved, but they would have stayed the same anyway. But it means that these protected buildings aren't going to just be left abandoned. They've all got a purpose and they're there to be visited. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to just seeing what you think. I don't think I'll be able to see everything in one day, because if Black Country Museum's a 2-day thing, then this is definitely going to be a more than 1 day thing. But hopefully I get to come back at some point, not too distant future.
Yeah, it's like the heart of it, isn't it? I mean, you know, the Black Country Museum, it's only got pigs, and that's only at certain times of the year. Whereas the fact that we've got horses, It's amazing how they've got like different banks as well.
They just haven't sort of like taken more back and started to really.
It's like a Wetherspoons wallpaper, isn't it?
Just think if you tried to correctly this song, just set the place on fire.
Yeah. Well, that's green one, I think.
That's true.
Ah, this is an
Do I remember radiators like that?
Slightly hands.
Hey.
And everyone was giggling at you little.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can tell it's not authentic because we've not got the yellow marks on the ceiling.
Lyra. Don't let the taps work. That looks like a funny cooker, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was just saying, them big deep sinks, they're all taken out of places because they were doing like old fashioned, but now.
Yeah, and that's the radiator.
This is a bit more modern.
So my granddad used to call it the wireless. What's on the
Water comes out, actually comes out the top.
Foot wheel, man. Foot wheel. Foot wheel.
He died too.
Yeah,
That's still
Just before you get the big roundabout, look to your right hand side, you'll see one of the car park you get it, around the place. That's where you sit.
That one was going to go ahead.
Did they still take birds down?
Canaries will only have taken underground after a fire or an explosion.
Alright.
Because they're more sensitive to carbon monoxide than they are. Carbon monoxide's given off after a fire.
Oh, there's some gold. Dad, I found some gold.
This says this is the way out. Oh, that's not the way in.
Look out here, and then we're going to talk about this little area for a few minutes.
Not the best.
Go right to the back, as far as you can, then everyone's going to fit in and probably be able to see. Oops, are you okay?
Proper walking pantry.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You can deal with all the parts and that.
I think like if it's brought over from a different country.
Creepers. Oh. That pulls you out of it. Ooh, that one's been freshly shaped. Oh.
You go call Sally.
Pork beef.
I think you only get one slide on it, I don't know. But it's a proper vintage one. I have done the one at the Black Country Museum, but they haven't got any. They got rid of a lot of the old ride. I don't think they've actually got any of the original rides. They've swapped them all out. But you have to wear like a hoodie. It's really weird. I've never done that before. There we go. It's decent. There we go. idea. And obviously this is something the Black Country Museum does have. I wish that'd be like the ultimate version of that. If they put the arc back in, the cakewalk back in, Elsa Skeleton back in, maybe add a carousel, it'd be, you know, for like a living museum, the best sort of travelling vintage film fair they could get. Obviously wouldn't be as good as like a, you know, Carter's, because that had the octopus, the skid and everything, but yeah, I think this could do with something else. I think they've got a big empty spot of land there which looks a bit run down. They could do with like a cakewalk or something a bit more unique, because it's, well, it's not that expensive really. It's the same. It's actually, no, it's cheaper than Joyland, and Joyland's really cheap, so it's not that bad. Although obviously you have to pay to get into this place, so yeah, it's a nice little bonus. It's not. They could do with a little bit more, I think. When the Black Country Museum's got a ghost train, you know, I think you do kind of want a little bit, but. I don't know if there used to be something there. Yeah, with the scale of the rest of the museum, I think they've got the room to expand this, so they could put a bit of a mixture. I mean, Stratford Park's the best sort of small scale one you're going to get. It's all indoors, so it's all preserved. And that's only over in Tamworth. So if you're in the Midlands, it's in the same town as Drayton Manor. That's really, really good. So if you want something that's like a living museum scale, but it's got more unique things, that's brilliant. That could do with a cakewalk as well, because I think I've only seen one recently, and that was the one in Nottingham travelling fair. That was good. That it had like a haunted house walk through. But yeah, that's, you know, people say it reminds them of Greece, but there's not a cakewalk, because I don't know if they had them in the US, so it's a bit annoying. But yeah, I would like more of those around at travelling fairs, because vintage fairs, you know, attractions, because there's something a bit more unique and they suit them, you know. I mean, obviously there's the one in Great Yarmouth Funhouse, but on their own you don't see them very often now.
It's just there.
Take off any coats and bags, jumpers, things. Not too much worrying that you're sort of burning and running versus me running inside. And, so
Dad's going, so I'm just going to give you
Right,
a spin there and I'll just...
No, I'll come this way.
Thank you so much, no problem at all.
Oh God, it's got my granddad used to have something similar to that, but it was the last supper. Patient care requested. Reading the smart inside. Look at these encyclopedias. There should be bloody tissues all over the steps.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yes, well, back, looking after your teeth correctly.
Alright.
Your teeth will rot.
Yeah.
Now, back in 1913, it was expected that women were to marry. There were more women in the country than there were men, because a lot of men emigrated abroad across the empire to look for labour.
Definitely haunted.
It's considered a social norm now when you are married. There's more women in the country. There are more women in the country. All create full selection of authentic supply on. They are, of course, second hand. When you pay for it, you see.
It's very grand, isn't it? Oh, it smells of almonds in here. Carry now. Upstairs.
Some haunted bedrooms.
This person had money, obviously.
What are they called?
No, we were on about that the other day. I bet it was a bit more literal. I wish your granddad were, you know, going on about this, maybe you can see it. But, you know, I really spend 5 minutes at the place and then they're out. I think your granddad would like this too.
See, they've got like a local coaching holidays, Mikey, but
Oh no. Oh no. That's just what it is. It's like this was our leather. We're famous for leather.
Reynolds Farmers.
I'm sure that was the one that was out early, you know, that the
cathedral stood on there.
from Beamish, and I'm gonna say I'm definitely gonna have to come back because I don't even think I've done half of the things here in a day, and I've been here, well, since this morning, pretty much when it opened. And you know, it's only, this is one of those things, normally a smaller attraction, or you know, like something that's not a theme park, normally I'd be like, it doesn't need to open after 5. I wouldn't complain if, I mean, they might open late sometimes, because there's a lot to do. Because I think I've been to maybe just over half of the actual areas that they've got, but there's certain things I've missed in those areas, so I've probably done less than half of it. You probably need to spend like 3-4 days here if you want to see everything. If you want to go, I mean, you could literally spend a day on some of the high streets. Like, yeah, if you want to go in every attraction in every area, it's a lot. but yeah, there's a couple of areas. I think there's another farm, there's another street hidden somewhere that I haven't even seen at all. Like, I haven't even been in those areas. Yeah, it's a lot, and I don't know how much I've actually filmed because my SD card doesn't seem to be that full. So, whereas at Diggerland it seemed to, although to be fair, those POVs at Diggerland were long, but it seemed to fill up really quick. So yeah, but honestly, this is, I mean, the Black Country Museum was one of the most immersive places last time I went. This might top it. I think the fact that, I mean, the vehicles driving around, unfortunately that's only like for certain events, like with a fire engine and the vintage cars going around. That's only for certain events, like the steamroller. Some of you could ride on, I think the families ride on the vintage cars, you could ride on the trailer on the back of the steamroller. I think that's only temporary. That really added a lot of kinetic to this place. So it's a shame that's not permanent, really, because the amount of theming they've got, that really adds to it. But yeah, so that's like an event they've got on, so that was nice to see. The only thing I'd say was a bit disappointing was the mine. I know it is real, whereas the one at Black Country Museum's like fake. I think it is underground, but I mean, it's just a building, and then they have like a little tunnel that they've made. You can see where it was all covered over, really, with when they dug it out and built the ground over the top of it. So it's all themed, but it is a longer experience. You're literally going about 2 rooms in this one, and then you come out, and it's not much of a tour around there. I mean, you get to see the machinery, and you know, you find a few facts. I mean, it's not that much of a surprise that there were like 6-year-olds working down there. Yeah, the good old days. But you know, you do get to learn about how, you know, like there was this machine in the first room that it was like, if you imagine being in this confined space, there's a sort of 10 times as loud as like a road drill. It's, yeah, you would lose your hearing. They said you basically officially lose your hearing. You'd sort of, there were these conditions that would obviously lower your quality of life, and it would shorten your lifespan. And because women didn't have rights back in the day, your wife would basically be homeless and would have to find another man who worked in the mines earning good money. So yeah, and then the other room, it basically just showed you how dark it'd be, the lamps that would explode because the build-up of heat, and you got to sort of see how the technology's got better. Yeah, like the build-up of gases in the lamps, and so they were able to be sort of not be released, and sort of react with other things and cause an explosion. So it was interesting. The facts were interesting, but it's a bit short. You do have to sort of crouch down in the first bit, but yeah, I think the Black Country Museum wins there. I'd say the Black Country Museum wins with the fun fair as well, because this one's just, I mean, they haven't got a carousel, they haven't got a Helter Skelter anymore, but the Black Country Museum's got the old rocket jets. It has got a Starflyer, or not a Starflyer, a chair plane, a flat wave swinger basically, and then It's got the ghost train, which is brilliant. It's got a Peaky Blinder in it, which you're not gonna, I mean, obviously you're not gonna have a Peaky Blinder in a ghost train in here, but it's a brilliant thing. The fact they've got a dart ride actually themed to the museum would be nice, but it's not all about rides. So the fact you've got the ghost train at that one is good. If you're going to spend some time in the fair, when it's on their 60s street, whereas here they don't have that yet, although they were talking about the 80s being the next era. So I'd love to see like a video shop here, because obviously they've got a record shop. A video shop would be brilliant, especially if it was an independent one. So yeah, that'll probably be the next era. I mean, I imagine they've got the space to expand as well as keeping the fields, because you need to keep that grass areas, obviously for the animals as well, but you also want like breaks, so it feels like you know, when you're on the tram, you're going through the countryside and then you go into the town, and then you leave the town, you're in the countryside again. You need that balance. So I'm not sure where they'd expand, but they've probably got the space, they could still keep the balance. Yeah, there was some horse action going on. Yeah, when the horse was sort of it kept sniffing the pig, and then eventually the pig was having none of it, and these two, I think there were two male horses, got very excited. So yeah, try and tell me it's not natural. So yeah, but family friendly, sure. So I'm glad I'm not going to include that. I don't think I filmed it anyway, but I mean, it's animals. You know, you've seen the tortoises at Chessington on some videos, so but yeah. So yeah, you've got different streets, different shops you can go in. I don't know if it's quite as, I mean, there is I think when you're buying stuff, a lot more of it's made here. Like, but then I think like stuff like the bakery, Black Country Museum does win again, because there's more variety, whereas here, but then here it's all sponge cakes. There's only two types you can choose from, but they're actually made here, I'm sure. So it's more, it's kind of like comparing, although this is an easy comparison now, York's Chocolate Story to Cadbury World. Obviously it's kind of a bit different, because this is almost the version of Cadbury World where it's more flashy, but then it's also, and it's bigger, but then it's also kind of more personalised like York, and then the Black Country Museum's kind of less personalised and a bit smaller. So, and it's like obviously local, so you get to compare the local stuff to the more distant stuff. But I mean, obviously York's Chocolate Story wins. Cadbury World's been turned into a proper capitalist haven now since Merlin took it on. It's just crap. It's got a crap dart ride. It's just, they've ruined that place, and they've made it smaller as well. So yeah, and I mean, like, as in wasting space, they've replaced stuff with I imagine just storage, like a whole old dart ride ripped out. Why did they relocate the dart ride when they're not going to replace the old one with anything? They could have just had both. Makes no sense. And that old dart ride, yes, it was a ride, but it had charm to it. I'm never going back there again unless something really changes. And it used to be a great thing to do locally. I mean, we've still got the think tank, so there's still something around there that I used to do as a kid. I'll have to do that again. I haven't been for years. But this is like comparing those two, but kind of for different reasons. So yeah, but you can kind of take little bits of, I think, but they're both worth doing. Obviously one's smaller, but they've both got different advantages and disadvantages, I think. I mean, obviously yeah, with like the fun fair being I think they could both do with a little bit more, but I think, yeah, what Black Country Museum has got is better. And same with the mine. Maybe even there it probably could be a bit longer, with it being obviously not a real mine, but at the same time, yeah, here was interesting, but it's not safe to go down most of it. So it's not really their fault, but it would have been nice to have a little bit more. Maybe if there was a section of it next to it that was like they'd built a fake mine next to it, unless they can't really tamper with the ground around there. But if they could do something, I don't know, or maybe like have a building with like a fake mine inside it, so it's like a bit more of a tour around there than just a couple of rooms. Yeah. They do also have steam trains here, aren't running today. The bridge was all blocked off, but you might have seen a little bit on the tram. There's actually a little steam rower, very much like Stratfold Park. I mean, they've got 2 trains, but it's similar to the sort of big train there, I think, where it just goes around a bit of the site. So yeah, it's actually it's really worth visiting here. You probably want to spend 3 days at least if you want to go in all the activities. It's probably best to do it in a particular order, going around in a certain order, but then you'd also want to do the transport as well. So you probably want to get one of the transport rides somewhere and then start there and work your way around. If you want to see everything, and obviously return on another day, stay in a hotel nearby, return on another day, and start where you left off, basically. Or you could get the transport to that location, still use the transport then if you're spending multiple days. So that it's actually great that they've got that, and you can try and do everything, because there is a lot here. There's a lot here. And yeah, if you want to do all, because I think I've just sort of touched on the activities, done a sort of maybe just over half, maybe like 2/3 of the locations. But yeah, there's certain whole areas I haven't been to, so I definitely need to come back and try and complete the other attractions as well that they've got. I have got some sweets and a cake as well, because they've got a sweet shop on the main street. I mean, my next video will probably be just the phase 2 on Planet Coaster 2 of Ocean Beach with the new additions, and then vlog wise I'm sure I'll go to Drayton Manor again before I go to Cornwall and Devon, because that's the next big thing that's planned. But Drayton I can just go anytime with the annual pass, so I'll probably fit in that again, maybe a couple of times, maybe like once a month I'll be able to get in there. You know, hopefully Air Race will be open. I don't know if it's open yet, it should be. So yeah, I'll obviously get back to Drayton, and then I've got my own Planet Coaster Park World of Stories, which is a bit Chessington-esque with the IPs and then a bit of original themes in areas. So those are sort of the next projects I've got lined up. But yeah, actual visit wise, probably Drayton, or if not it will be Cornwall and Devon, which are obviously 6 parks I'm visiting, which will be brilliant. So yeah, that's my next big trip. But yeah, so I'll probably be a Planet Coaster video next, most likely, and then either Drayton Manor or the next, probably Drayton Manor, because World of Stories is probably still got a lot left in it. So yeah, but that's the next project that's lined up. But from this trip anyway, that's it until the next time. That's, I'd say, the main area. It's like the Black Country Museum sort of hillside town behind obviously the quite new 50s and 60s village that was built back onto the original town, where there's got the fish and chip shop and everything. The fish and chips smell exactly the same here. It's so nice. I haven't eaten here today, but if I ever come back and I eat here, I'm pretty sure they're going to be similar, cooked in a certain oil that it just smells different. It just, I don't know, I think it's just probably like the old recipe. So, oh, there we go, shutting up now. Yeah, but I'll have to come back anyway. I don't know if it'll be when I come back to Shields again, or a separate weekend. It all depends what happens next year, really. But then I don't know, I would like to come back to Shields again, but then if I'm going to spend like 2 days here, then will I be able to incorporate Shields, unless I do this in the middle, and then, because I'd like to do Newcastle, because I've been there for ages. So it'd be a difficult one, but I think I'll find a way to do it. It just depends whether it's next year, because there's other stuff I want to do next year. But yeah, so that's it for the trip to Tyne and Wear in Durham.